hiss. There we go. There. Actually, are you hearing that hiss?
Yep. Sounds like a snake.
Yeah, it did it. Yeah, there you go. It's crossed wire. There you go. Hi, everybody. We're going to share this, and then we'll get rolling. Thank you for watching. Yeah, there you go. It's crossed wire. / listening. Let's see. Share. Please hit the share button. Hi, Nick Torina. Always the first one. Wonder if Nick works.
He does work.
You think he doesn't? Well, I mean, having a job
correct.
and working.
Yeah, that's true.
Are very different things.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Nick was a heck of a pitcher back in the day. A crafty lefty. He was a Barthmelius type. I don't know if you're familiar with Barthmelius.
He's the only one you ever referenced.
Because he was the craftiest of crafty. Barth and Jamie Moyer. Do it again.
It's hurting my voice, dude. I can't do that. All right, ready?
Mm-hmm. Are you ready?
Are you ready? Hey, Gordy Rush is watching.
G-Money.
Hi, Gordy. We're making money for your station. Thanks for watching.
G-Money.
Gordy, please hit the share button since we're making money for you. All right, here we go. You ready, Paul? Let's roll with the open. You ready? All right.
This is the Riot.
Nope, hang on. Clipped it. Clipped it. Here we go. Here we go. Take two.
This is the Riot Podcast with Matt Moscona and Ryan Terrio. One is an athlete, the other an athletic supporter. Follow the guys on Twitter at Matt Moscona and at rterrio7. Here's Matt and Ryan.
All right, here we go. Riot Podcast presented by Prime Occupational Medicine. Ryan Terrio, Matt Moscona. Glad you're here. If you're listening to the podcast, thank you. If you're watching, thank you. As we remind you, we record this live at noon Central Time every Tuesday, except when Ryan decides he has better things to do. We have to move to Wednesday, or he's late, or something like that. And you can
That happened one time.
And you can watch us on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge Facebook page. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Better than I was yesterday.
Yeah, you sound good.
Whew, man.
Sounded bad.
I'm better than I was yesterday. So, a long story short, Erica got sick. She gave it to Drew. Drew gave it to me. I just had cold, got swabbed and all. Major shout out to...
That's your shout out noise.
I love it. Major shout out to Liz at Downtown Healthcare.
Yeah.
Man, popped over here, gave me a shot in studio, the cortisone shot, swabbed me for strep and flu and all that stuff, checked all my vitals. I didn't know they had a concierge service, so shout out to them.
What do they do? You just come to wherever you are. Make it happen.
I guess in the downtown area. You sound a little nasally, too.
You sound nasally.
No, I know, but I'm getting better. You sound like it's coming on there. Who are you texting?
Daniel Cabrera just texted me.
Who cares?
He said, yo, what's up?
Yeah, who cares? Like
I got to text him back.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
We're doing a podcast now.
I can do two things at one time. I'm good at that.
I'm going to take your phone and throw it in the ocean.
Well, that's how I show prep. You shouldn't do that.
Well, throw it outside during the show anyway.
Well, then I'm not going to have any of my notes.
Like it would matter.
Kick rocks?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay, well.
I think you do whatever anyway. Nick, Ronnie, Gordy, trivia. Good to see everybody here watching here on Facebook Live. So, I want to get to, so anyway, I'm feeling better. You sound like you need to feel better. But we'll do kick rocks. I know you want to talk about Devin White. I'm pretty psyched about what Will Wade said yesterday.
What did he say?
We'll get to it later about the possibility of LSU playing a game at the Cow Palace.
Oh, wow.
I know. How about that, right? We'll get into that a little bit later. We'll do Ask Us. So
on the dirt?
Well, no, they'd have to put a basketball floor in there.
Oh.
But anyway, we'll get to that later. Big news today, Urban Meyer is resigning at Ohio State. Now he's retiring from coaching. How do you feel about it?
I'm saddened. I'm saddened because I think Urban Meyer is he's one of the top 3 coaches, I guess, college coaches in my lifetime, at least in college football. I think he's...
Who's the third?
He would probably be 2. I would say the guy from SC that's now with the Seahawks would probably be
Pete
3.
Carroll?
Pete Carroll probably be 3, and then Saban 1. So
But even Pete Carroll didn't have a run like this. Pete Carroll's run at SC was a shorter window. I mean, Urban Meyer, if you go back to having an undefeated team at Bowling Green, undefeated team at Utah,
yeah.
then going to Florida, winning 2 national titles, winning a national title at Ohio State. He is 85-9 at Ohio State.
I think he's lost 17 games his whole coaching career, something like that.
That's not true.
Is that right?
But he's lost 4 conference games in his time at Ohio State.
Is that good?
That is, in 7 years, he's lost 4 conference games. That is stunning. He's got a better career winning percentage than Nick Saban. Saban's got the championships, of course. And Saban had Michigan State, which was a rebuild. First year at LSU. Now, first year at Alabama, he went 6-6. They won the bowl games for 7-6. But it's Saban, Meyer, and there's nobody else in the conversation. Now, in our lifetime, you could throw Bobby Bowden in that mix. We got to see some dominant Florida State runs. There was like an 11 straight year run where they were in the top 5.
No championships though.
They won 2.
I mean, Stoops. What about Bob Stoops? Early retirement too.
Bob Stoops had a great run,
Yeah.
but Bowden won 2 national titles at Florida State. Played for another in 2000.
He was beautiful
against Oklahoma.
I loved him.
And they played for another in '98 against Tennessee and lost in that Fiesta Bowl. So he played for several.
What about what's his name? Florida.
Steve Spurrier.
Spurrier. Yeah.
Spurrier was a great coach.
Yeah.
Won 1 national title, played for another in '95 when they lost the Fiesta Bowl to Tommy Frazier, Nebraska. Tom Osborne would be the other one I think you could throw
Nebraska.
in there. But Tom Osborne, it took a while for him, before he finally got over the hump and won titles, and he wound up winning 3. He won it in '94, and then '94, and then back-to-back. Or they go back-to-back in '94. He won in '94, '95, then again in '97.
Eric Crouch. Is that the
Eric Crouch was his quarterback in 2000.
Okay.
But they did not win the national title that year.
Who was
And
Tommy Frazier?
Tommy Frazier was the guy in '95 for the Fiesta Bowl in '95 with Lawrence Phillips at running back, and they were freakishly good.
Option.
But the point is, it's rarefied air, and in my opinion, it's Nick Saban, Urban Meyer, and then a big gap, and then whoever you want to fill in next. You and I disagree, though, on whether or not Urban Meyer's really done.
Yeah.
Because I think he's done, except for maybe one job that could, at some point in the future, come open and entice him back. But why do you think that he's not done?
Just because I've seen the script play out before. It's almost like he goes hard for a couple years. Body starts to break down, gets tired, retires or steps away from coaching, recharges the batteries, and hops back in. In his case, different than a Saban, he's been able to hop back in scenarios and with teams and schools they were already loaded and ready to go. So he's been in some good spots. I think that's why you see those numbers kind of inflated the way they are. I see him coming back. He's 54 years old. Yes, he's got the health.
Can I just interrupt you real quick? You're talking about Meyer hopping in great spots. He went to great programs, but he took over for Ron Zook at Florida, which was not primed to be a winner.
Right.
And he took over a situation at Ohio State where Luke Fickell went 6-6 the year before he came in and then brought them to 12-0.
He did.
So it's not like he inherited, like Lincoln Riley last year at Oklahoma inherited a team with Baker Mayfield that was ready to go win a national title. That's a little different than what Urban Meyer. Look, you're right. I mean, he went to 2 top 10 programs, no doubt.
Different than a Michigan State and an LSU, I think, in my opinion, whenever Saban came.
No doubt.
Yeah. But he's 54, right? So young guy in the coaching world, and I've just seen it play out before. I think he's beat right now, and right now, if you were to ask him, he's done. But I think he recharges the batteries and he comes back.
Dude's got a cyst on his brain that's causing massive headaches.
Yeah.
And I also think, do you know anybody that suffers from anxiety, legit, panic attacks, anxiety?
Yeah.
You ever talk to people like that, and it's debilitating?
No, it is.
My brother, when he was a senior at Notre Dame, he was about to graduate. And this is 8,000, enrollment or thereabouts. So it's small. So his graduating class was doing a prayer service at the grotto. The grotto, where Rudy goes and lights the candles and it's got, that's the grotto. They were doing a prayer service there. They literally had to call an ambulance and take my brother to the hospital because he thought he was having a heart attack and dying at 22 years old because he was having a panic attack. So, he's struggled with anxiety at times. Sure. And there's people that's a very legit thing. And I wonder if that's part of what's going on with Herb. He had the heart issues. And I get why people downplay it because you could look at the football aspect of things and say, okay, well, in Florida, they won the title in 2008. He had all those guys back in 2009 with Tebow and Spikes, and everybody came back. They went undefeated, and then they lost to Bama in the SEC championship game. And then 2010, they had a dip, and then he bolted. right? And then he just waited till Ohio State came open, and then he stepped into a good situation there.
Yeah.
So part of me understands like the cynic that would say that, but I also wouldn't minimize the health. Here's the other part, and maybe you're better to speak to this than I am, but I just think that we are coming to a point with coaches' salaries and with the schedules they're keeping now that dudes get in as GAs at 22 years old, and they're working 15, 18-hour days, 360 days out of the year. And you do that for 30 years, and you blink, and you're 55, and you have missed your kids grow up. I mean, it's the reason you walked away from baseball, for the fear of missing like you've told me that before, like you were missing things in your kids' lives. You've missed your kids grow up, and now your kids are playing ball, or you got grandkids coming on the way, and you go, you know what, man, I'm 50, 55. I've done everything. I've made gobs of money, more than I could ever spend. Why am I going to do this for another 30 years? Yeah. Why am I going to do this till I die? Like, let me go take a walk and go live on Meyer Island and enjoy the rest of my life with the gobs of money I made. Like, people think Bob Stoops is eager to get back in. I buy it that he's taking a walk. Same with Gene Chizik. Did you see Turner Gill? No. Turner Gill yesterday retired from coaching. He coached at Buffalo. He got the Kansas job, didn't do well. He spent the last 10 years at Liberty or whatever it's been. Some people think Hugh Freeze is going to get that job now. But Turner Gill, he's retired. He's retired from coaching. Yeah. There's something to be said for that, man. Like, make your money, and then, like anybody else would, if you could work your ass off for 30 years, make gobs of money, and walk at 55, like, who wouldn't want to take a check and a payday and walk at 55 and have the rest of their life to do whatever they want?
So here's what I'll say. Yes, I mean, I personally stepped away from baseball for a number of reasons, my family and children being one, but the anxiety stuff that you're talking about is real. And I dealt with that on a level probably not as bad as Urban or some of these other people, but it is a real thing. And here's what I'll tell you as I peeled the layers of the onion back from that experience. Absolutely debilitating. Why it happens and how it affects people, it's different from a why, but it's exactly the same from a how it affects everybody. And that's a great observation on your part, looking at it and going, okay, could this be going on? Obviously, you have some experience with it. But I'll tell you this, and this is what I've learned over the years. The brain, the chemical makeup of the brain changes, obviously, when you're going through these types of things. For whatever reason, everybody's different. Whether it be experiences in your life that are either good or bad, whether it be the stresses and pressure of life. Sometimes it just happens overnight, and you go, oh, my gosh, I'm not who I was yesterday. What's going on? And you can't put a finger on what the deal is. But rewinding, the chemicals in the brain that do change and affect that will go back to where they were before. It's a general rule of thumb that it takes exactly the same amount of time to get back to where you were before as it did when you were experiencing the anxieties and the panic attacks. So, to your point, coach, walk away, regroup, recharge. Coach, walk away, regroup, recharge. Oh, crap, it's happening again. I got to step back a little while. I got to recharge. Bam. We've heard the phrase recharge the batteries.
Yeah, but isn't there truth to the fact that maybe you don't want to jump back in and knowing that's going to be your end again, especially at 54 when you've made bajillions of dollars?
I didn't play anymore.
Yeah.
Could I have? Absolutely. But in a state of mind that I was at the end of my career, and so what caused me to feel the way that I felt? Well, it was because of my family and my kids and wanting to be there, and and so it's different with Urban. I don't know if I was. I guess the way I need to think about it is if I was 30 years old right now.
Yeah.
And I have just probably in the last year or two have gone, man, if I could, I would.
You go play again.
Physically.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That is not true early when I retired. No chance. No way. I don't care how much money it is. Ain't happening.
I think Urban, but to that point, everybody's different. Now, I will say this. And you look at examples like John Madden. John Madden stepped away from coaching and went into the broadcast booth and never went back.
Right.
Won Super Bowls, Hall of Famer, walked away, was good, never went back. So, like, I believe there are those guys, and more so now because of what coaches' salaries are doing. And it's so hard, I think, sometimes to contextualize this, but if you're a head coach making $100K 20 years ago, which sounds stupid, right? But think about when Nick Saban was hired at LSU, the great debate with Joe Dean and Mark Emmert was, do you pay Nick $1 million or $1.2 million? Do you spring for the extra $200K for Nick Saban?
Yeah.
In December of December of '99, 1.2. Ryan, you got a defensive coordinator making 2.5, making more than double that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you rewind even further and you realize, man, coaches didn't always have the option.
Right.
Like, you got to work.
Yeah.
You know, and now it's just that salaries and have just exponentially multiplied. That these guys have more leeway. They've got wealth. If you want to take $50 million liquid that you've got in the bank and live the rest of your life and never do anything, cool.
Yeah.
You can do it if you want to do it. Now, some guys are lifers, and they're never going to step away. You know, they don't know any different. Les Miles going back to Kansas at 64 years old, whatever. Like, why is Les Miles going to Kansas? He's just a coach. He just wants to coach. He just wants to coach. Okay, I get it. But there's situations like this where maybe guys are willing to step away. Now, there's one situation where I think Urban would come back. It's Notre Dame. Urban, he was an assistant at Notre Dame. He's a devout Catholic. For God's sakes, he's named after a pope. Okay? If there was one job that I think Urban would come back, let's say Brian Kelly does another year. Notre Dame's in the playoff this year. Let's say Kelly stays another year. Maybe he scratches the NFL itch eventually, or he just gets tired of Notre Dame and punts. And that job comes open another year or two, and they go to Urban and say,
yeah,
how you feeling, big guy? You good for another run? You want one more hurrah? Win a championship at a third school? You know, bring Notre Dame back to prominence? I think that might be enticing for him. Yeah. But that's if the job comes open and if he feels at 56, 57, like he wants to jump back in and do another 5, 6 year, 7 year run, coach into his early 60s, and then go from there.
Yeah.
That's the only one I think. Like, Urban Meyer ain't getting back in to go coach at Toledo.
No, that's not happening.
He ain't going to go coach at a high school. You know, maybe he'll do some broadcasting. I don't know. But I think a chance to win a championship at a third school and do something that's completely unprecedented, which nobody else has done, I think he would absolutely entertain that idea at Notre Dame if that job came open.
It'd be fun to watch.
Tell us about Prime Occupational Medicine. Tell us about corporate planning and human resources and safety.
I got it.
Okay. You plan the corporates.
This is big. Yeah, well, not necessarily. Well, kind of. You're planning for the corporates.
You do plan corporates.
Yeah, you do. Listen, when you talk about corporate planning, these guys at Prime, they ensure that the employees are as healthy as they can possibly be at all times. They do that in a couple of different ways. And the reason why you want to do that, you want your employees to be healthy so they're their most productive, okay? Matt, an average workers' comp claim, you ready for this?
Hit me with it.
$40,000.
Whoa.
Okay, so if I'm
if
I'm a business owner, I don't want to have to worry about that, right? The way that you can thwart that, okay, you like that?
Thwart. I like thwarting.
Make sure they're healthy to begin with.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Guy's hurt. He's got a better chance of getting hurt, and then they have to file the workers' comp claim, and you don't want to do that. Prime has over 75 paramedics and nurse practitioners in the workforce.
Love it.
They go to your job. Get 75 of them, and they're mobile, and it's really, really cool. In sports terms, a coach wants his or her player to be the best shape they possibly be in order to perform their highest potential and limit the risk of injury. Prime Medical does that for their employees.
PrimeOCCMed.com. You're a business owner, PrimeOCCMed.com. Not just in Baton Rouge, right?
They're all over the place.
All over the place.
They're mobile, so they can go wherever you need them.
749-5750, 749-5750, or PrimeOCCMed.com. Let's do Kick Rocks.
Let's do it.
Oh, you know what I got to do?
What do you have to do?
Got to unmute my computer, because remember the thing went bing earlier?
Mm-hmm.
Hang on. Sorry about that.
It's all right.
It's now time to Kick Rocks with Ryan Terrio.
Kick rock.
Kick Rocks.
NBA can kick rocks because they're so dang sensitive.
What are you looking at? Kick Rocks.
As a matter of fact, the NFL can kick rocks too.
We've got rocks. You know what to do.
In that case, then Matt's going to have to kick rocks.
Now let's see if Ryan Terrio actually prepared for this week's segment.
I'm going to tell myself to kick rocks.
Get on down the road and kick rocks.
Story was published today. Bryce Harper to the Nationals is real.
Like staying with the Nationals?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So stupid.
I don't believe that.
Listen, here's the deal. Bryce Harper is a Hall of Fame type talent. At the end of the day, there's a really good chance, probably better than anyone that we'll see in our lifetime, that he breaks the home run record. The guy's a freak.
More than Trout?
Absolutely. He's young. He hits more homers. He's young.
Especially Trout playing in that yard. What if Trout goes to the Yankees?
It's close. You got a chance. Trout's, but then it's still an opposite field homer you're trying to hit.
Yeah, come on. But he can still do it. What does Trout average a year homers? What's his homer and average per
I'd
year?
say 30. I don't know for
so
sure.
30?
You know, but Trout is a 30, 35 guy tops. Harper's like a 50, 60 guy if he gets hot. I mean, it could be big. Don't go back to the Nationals. Don't even entertain it. You should walk away as fast as you can. These guys have tried in Washington year after year to put a team out there that can compete and get to the playoffs. They've added star power. They've added new coaches. They're in the nation's capital. And every single year, they're snake bit. Guys get hurt and they lose. Bryce, please leave. If you're thinking about staying, you need to kick rocks.
Go to the Yankees.
Go somewhere.
Go to the Yankees. I think Bryce Harper goes to the Cubs and Trout goes to the Yankees. That's my pick.
Harper to the Cubs?
Harper to the Cubs, Trout to the Yankees. That's my pick. What do you think?
How many more years does Jason Hayward have on his deal? That's going to determine whether he goes there or not, I think. Just financially. Sit him on the bench. But the Cubs are...
If you have a chance to get a generational player, why do you blink at that?
Financially, I don't know if they could swing it. I know they have a couple bad contracts.
Dude,
and they're going to have to make a decision,
There's no salary cap.
You say that, but there's not a salary cap, but like there's not a machine at the bottom of Wrigley Field down there where they just print the money. I mean,
the Ricketts family has money. Just stroke checks.
No, I get it. They do, but
stroke checks. Do you want to win or not? Stroke checks.
I'd like to see him I'd like to see him there because the ball jumps that field in the summer, but I don't know. We'll see.
Traffic in Baton Rouge and kick rocks.
Yeah.
Driving in today, I was talking to you, and I kind of blew a gasket on Baton Rouge traffic.
You were pissed.
I was pissed. And when I got to it, so like I'm coming up I-10, 10 westbound. Before I get to the split, dead stop. It's like 10:40 in the morning on a Tuesday.
There's always traffic there. You should know better than that.
10:40 a.m. Tuesday, no reason for anybody to be on the road, and it's dead stop traffic, 4 lanes across at the 10-12 split. Baton Rouge, get your bleep together. You know what? I finally creep up on it. There's an 18-wheeler in the right lane just past Acadian that just stopped. Just stopped in the right lane. So everybody in the right lane's got to get over in the left, and left has to get over to the left. And then it's like you slowed down literally thousands of people because you're an idiot just stopped in the right lane.
What'd you want him to do?
Get off of the interstate.
It's an 18-wheeler. Were you going to push it?
Get off. He was 100 yards, less than 100 yards past the Acadian exit. Get off the Acadian exit and get off of the interstate.
What if he just ran out of gas?
Well, he's an idiot.
I think I can make it.
Well, then you're an idiot for letting yourself run out of, well, it'd be diesel, it wouldn't be gasoline, but fuel. Anyway, point is, you're an idiot. Hey, guy in the 18-wheeler stalled, blocking traffic in the right lane, you're an idiot. Kick rocks. Traffic in Baton Rouge, kick rocks. What do you think about this Move BR thing?
Well, I don't even know what you're talking about.
You have no idea?
No, tell me about it.
Oh, it's a thing that's on the ballot for this week. It's like,
what does it mean?
It's like a tax plan to try to pay for traffic upgrades and so road improvements in Baton Rouge. And they got Wampold and Bernhardt both supporting it. So they got like the richest Democrat and the richest Republican, and they're saying, "Hey, both sides are supporting it, so let's go do it."
I think that's probably a good idea. Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know anything about it.
I really don't.
Yeah.
But it sounds like a good idea. I don't know. What do you think?
Pretty smart to get those guys behind it.
Yeah, that's smart.
But then again, do you think average Joe cares what the 2 richest guys in town think?
They're probably pissed at those 2 guys.
Hey, why don't you just bankroll this whole thing?
Yeah. Shut up, guys. Why don't y'all pay for it? I'm not giving my hard-earned dollars away.
You build a new interstate, Jack.
Cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot,
God.
cold, hot,
You're
cold,
telling
hot,
me.
cold, hot. So, hey, Mother Nature. Let's just keep it like in one climate region.
Just like a woman, huh?
Just keep it, like
hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold.
Don't have to be so extreme all the time.
Figure it out.
I walked out of my house this weekend, and the concrete was sweating because it was humid and gross, and then all of a sudden I wake up this morning, it's freezing cold. I got to worry about my chickens getting cold outside.
Yeah.
Like, come on. You wonder why everybody's sick. When it's December, it's supposed to be highs in the 60s, lows in the 40s, maybe 30s, highs in the 50s. Like, come on.
Figure it out.
You're better than that, Baton Rouge. You're better than that, Mother Nature.
Mother Nature needs to figure it out.
That's why we're sick. That's why I'm stopped up right now. That's why you were sick yesterday. It's her fault.
I'm still sick. Friends who don't call you back, they can kick rocks.
I hate those guys, and especially when they say, "I'm gonna call you right back."
Hey, you're on the phone with somebody, and you're talking, and they go, "Hey, I'm gonna call you right back." Okay, call me right back. And then the next day at 10:30, you call them and you go, "Hey, a-hole, you never called me back."
But wouldn't, in that case, you be the a-hole for not calling the friend back, going, "Man, is everything okay? Why didn't you call me back?"
Nope.
Yeah, kinda. What if something would have happened to that guy?
I don't care.
You should.
That guy should have said, "Oh, hey, let me shoot you a text like I need help," or 911 or SOS.
What if they couldn't?
Whatever. But then you see that person the next day at your podcast when you're recording and everything's fine, and they just never called you back because they're inconsiderate.
Huh.
Those people can kick rocks.
Yeah.
What are you doing? It's so stupid. You call me.
I'm not going to tell you what
You call me. Like, you called me. We're talking, and then you're like, "Oh, hey, let me call you right back." And then I'm waiting there for you to call me back, and you never call me back.
Okay. I'm not going to go into detail
You
about what
big-time
happened.
me, dude.
No, I did not.
You
big time.
big-time
I did
me.
not. I'm not going to go into detail about what happened, but I got.
If you're going to big time me, at least big time me like when you're still in the show.
I got super
big time
fired
me
up.
now when you're braising chickens.
Something happened. I got super fired up and I forgot. So I apologize. Sorry. What do you mean to?
Call me back.
Nope. Okay, if you're one of the LSU fans that's pissed at Greedy Williams for not playing in the bowl game, saying he should pay his scholarship money back, you can kick rocks.
People actually say you should pay a scholarship money back?
Yeah. People are pissed.
Dopes.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Devin White, and we'll talk about this probably later, but he shouldn't play. If you're going to be a top 5, top 10 pick overall, and you go play in the bowl game, it's a stupid business decision. It's a stupid life choice. You saw it with, was it Jalen Smith with Notre Dame?
Yep.
Okay. Lost tens of millions of dollars, maybe more. Just now getting back right. Oh, man. Let the guy make his money. Let him eat. Dude's trying to eat. And plus, who cares?
So should he have played against Texas A&M?
He didn't really play against Texas A&M.
Should he have played against Rice?
No.
Should he have played against Alabama?
Yes.
Why?
Because if you win that one, then you got a chance to win a ring, do something special.
Still not going to make you any money. Your money's been made.
Yeah.
If your argument's about money, your money's been made.
My argument is also about the fact that the game against UCF really means not a whole lot. So
Game against Rice. By the time you lost to Bama, you're not playing for anything.
yeah, I mean, he didn't really play against A&M.
He was out there.
No, he was there. He just didn't really do a whole lot.
Scott Salvage can kick rocks.
Salvage with an L?
Salvage with an L.
What did he do?
Well, Scott Salvage was watching Morning Scone today. And for those that don't know, I do a Facebook live show every morning on my Facebook page. At Matt Moscona AFR on Facebook if you want to check it out. Call it Morning Scone.
Mm-hmm.
I get my coffee, I fire up Facebook Live, we talk. Hey, what are the headlines this morning? How's it going? Drew pops in my office. He does his ABCs. He makes me make pterodactyl sounds. He says, you poo-poo. And I'm like, no, I don't, you poo-poo. Our little games.
I like that game.
People think it's fun. We do Morning Scone. Well, Scott Salvage is watching. And, I mentioned the sponsor on there is Boudreaux's Mix. Well, Boudreaux'sMix.com. I'm telling people the website. He's like, LOL, why do you say the .com? I'm like, hey, idiot. What if it's .org? What if it's .net?
Mm-hmm.
What if it's .edu?
Could be.
And by the way, if you go to a browser and you just type in Prime OCC Med, it's not going to bring you to the website.
No.
It'll do a Google search and give you options. Now, you don't need the www dot any longer. Like anyone who puts like World Wide Web dot. Okay, well, that's excessive and unnecessary. Or like, I'm not saying http://www dot boudreauxmix.com.
Right.
I'm saying boudreauxmix.com. If I don't say the .com, then it's not going to lead you directly to a website. And what would I say? Hey, check them out, Boudreaux's Mix. No, check them out online at boudreauxmix.com.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Scott Salvage, you're a clown.
You are a
rocks.
clown, man.
Whatever. Blocking you from Morning Scone.
Stop looking for something to complain about.
The funny thing is, like, all the people watching Morning Scone started dogpiling that guy like, hey, that's the stupidest comment ever on here.
Yeah, he needs to take a break.
Scott Salvage, you're done. Oh, what else you got?
That's it. I'm done.
Oh, you're done.
Yep.
All right, one more time about Prime Occupational Medicine. We're going to get to Ask Us here in just a second. I do want to talk about Devin White. Tell people about Prime.
You can find them at www.
Not necessary.
Not necessary. PrimeOCCMed.com. Safety, human resources, corporate planning. Matt, the average workers' comp claim, $40,000. The people at Prime take the business owner in mind and go, you know what? We don't want you to have to pay that. They can test the employees, make sure that they're healthy. Ensuring that they're healthy makes that they're better workers, and we want to do that for your workers. Prime has over 75 paramedics and nurse practitioners in the workforce. Call them at 225-749-5750 or www.primeoccmed.com.
I'm going to talk about Devin White here in a second. Also want to talk about the Cow Palace. We get to Ask Us. That's when you can ask us anything about anything. So if you're watching us on Facebook Live, fire up your Ask Us questions right now. We'll get to them here in a second. Can I give a hug? I forgot. I got to give a hug.
Please do.
I want to give a hug to Pat Shingleton.
I love Pat Shingleton.
Okay, so you may not know this. You do. You know this. But if you're listening, watching, you probably don't know this. So we have a son named Drew. Drew's 4.5. Drew spent a lot of time in the hospital. He's got some pretty severe special needs. Developmentally, probably more like a 1.5, 2-year-old. But he's the happiest little kid ever. And ever since he's little bitty, he loves watching Pat Shingleton do the weather. And the long story short is Drew will sleep for 8 hours clockwork. So if we put him down at like 8 o'clock at night, he'd be up at 4 in the morning.
Okay.
So we keep him up till about 10:30, and he sleeps till 6:30.
All right.
So bath routine and all is always during the news, and Drew has always loved Pat Shingleton. We thought maybe it was just the weather, like, you know, with like
the screen
the
in the
chroma
back
key and
the
screen and all the graphics and everything. Not true, because like when any of the other weathermen at Channel 2 or at Channel 9, I love Jay Grimes and all those guys. Good for Steve Caparata.
Jay's got a good beard.
Friends of mine, and I think they do great work. But it just, Drew has loved Pat Shingleton forever. His first words were Mama, Dada, and Pat. Like,
okay,
honest to goodness, true story. Well, Pat's known this for a while. Well, one of his neighbors works with Erica at school, and it kept mentioning this to Pat over and over again. He sent Drew little videos and stuff in the past. Like Cobble's got him to do videos. You know, it's like, Drew, this is Uncle Pat, whatever. Well, Pat Shingleton sent Drew a little care package. Look, can we show this for those watching? He sent some Shamrock stickers, a little bin with cookies, then like a glossy 8x10, which, by the way, has to be from like 1982.
I got to get that picture.
You can have it. But he also wrote a note. So, like, this is equal parts very sweet and hilariously self-deprecating. The note reads, "Hey, Drew, put this on the front door. It will keep the burglars away.
I like it.
I'll be thinking about you during my quiet time. Pat Shingleton." I thought that was so nice.
Yep.
For those who don't know, Drew's got to go have another heart surgery. So I just thought that was so nice of Pat to take the time, like, to do the.
Very cool.
I mean, you could say, oh, that's really nice, but then actually take the time to write a note, to send a picture, to send cookies in a little tin, and make sure we get it. That I thought that was really. So Pat gets a big hug.
Yep.
Anybody that's
like
nice,
that.
anybody's nice to your kid. I think you realize that, right? Anybody's like nice to your kid, you love those people.
Yep. He's a good weatherman too.
The best.
He's a real guy. Really knows the weather.
All right, Devin White, go.
Don't play. Don't play. Please don't play. I'm begging you. We've seen this happen before. And I understand the reasons why one would play. I probably would play if I were in his shoes. But 38-year-old Ryan goes, please don't do it. You're a physical, fast, around-the-ball type player. You lead the team in tackles, meaning you make more contact. I like that. you make more contact than anybody else on the field, the risk of injury is far higher than a Greedy Williams would be. Don't do it. There's nothing. You have nothing more to prove. I think the LSU family as a whole would 1,000% understand. It's just not worth it.
I don't think they 1,000% understand. You're sitting there talking about people cracking on Greedy for not playing.
Okay, you're right. They won't understand.
There's some that won't.
Yeah, they should understand.
By the way,
Greedy's different though.
Would you play?
I probably would. I shouldn't. Just knowing myself, knowing 21-year-old Ryan, yeah, I probably would play.
So you brought up Jalen Smith. The other one's Jake Butt, the tight end from Michigan, who would have been a first-round draft pick. He tears his ACL in the Orange Bowl last year, ends up a fifth-round pick of Denver. So there are those examples of guys that got hurt in the bowl game. There are thousands of others that played and did not get hurt.
I get it.
So, like, are the two outliers enough to make you say, "Oh, I'm done"?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like if you'll forgive somewhat of a graphic analogy, but it's like the plane that crashes, is that enough to make you never want to fly again when there's like hundreds of thousands of flights that land safely every single day?
No.
You know, so I guess it's sort of a risk reward, though. I understand. Like flying, sometimes you don't have an option. Like if you're traveling, we got to get to where you're going. So
suck it up.
So you go.
Yeah.
If you're Devin White, like you don't have to play in this game to get to the NFL. Like you can not play and just not run that risk. So is it more like bungee jumping? Like I don't need to bungee jump, but I will never bungee jump in my life because in the event that the cord breaks, that ain't how I'm going out.
You go.
I ain't no sucker.
No.
That's not how it's going to end for me.
You ain't no punk.
No. It's not.
It's not worth it. Yes. Yes, the thousands that played that didn't get hurt, it's a great argument, but the two that you just mentioned that did is argument enough for me, 38-year-old Ryan, to go, I'm good. And I think the position that he plays has a lot to do with it. You know, wide receiver, defensive back, not a whole lot of contact there.
But then they look Christian Fulton.
Christian Fulton. I mean, look, I get it. But
I get you. If you're an interior player, more chance somebody falling on you, falling on your leg. I get it. Running back. I get. But then again, Geis played last year. You know?
No, he did.
And then he gets injured in a well, no, I guess he was being tackled in the in a preseason game. Anyway.
How do you feel about it? I feel like you're leaning toward playing.
No, my thought is that I would not judge any of these guys.
Right.
Like, if you want to play, like Devin White said, I have unfinished business. I want to run out there. I totally get it. Because the thing that I think that we sort of underestimate, I think some of these guys, and again, this is something I think you would know better than me, like you would live with immense regret later in life if you didn't play, if you didn't take the opportunity to play in that game. Like, you'll never get that opportunity again. Like, what if 60-year-old Ryan had said, you know what? I'm not going to go play in Omaha because I want to get ready for the draft, and your team went and won a World Series, and you weren't there.
Yeah.
Like, how would 60-year-old Ryan feel about that?
No, it'd be, I mean, it's not Omaha. This is not the championship.
I get it. It's not an apples-to-apples comparison, but it's
your point,
it's a big deal, and you'll never get the opportunity again.
Putting on the purple and gold, I've said this 100 times, was my major leagues. My goal was never to play in the big league. It was always to play at LSU. So if you were to tell 60-year-old Ryan, you can strap him up again, put on the purple and gold, and go play a game that matters for the Tigers, I would cherish that.
Yeah.
And again, 21-year-old Ryan would probably play because at that point in my life, I was in the major leagues. This was it for me. And so for him, you know, it's, oh, yeah, you're telling me I can put on this uniform again and go play for my hometown, my dream again? Absolutely. I'm not skipping this.
Yeah.
This is what I dreamt about as a child my entire life. I get it, and I understand it. And, again, I probably will play. But being through what I've been through and seeing what I've seen, if he were my child, I would probably advise him, hey, man, listen.
Yeah,
let's
did it.
Or you know what? If it looks like it's a scrum right there, like don't hop in it.
Yeah.
And if you play the game that way, you're more likely to get injured.
I don't know if I believe that.
Maybe. I like to say that.
Will Wade on his coach's show last night was someone called in and said they should play a game, asked for an update if they're going to play a game at the Cow Palace, so Parker Coliseum. Apparently this was something that Will Wade talked about. Give a listen. This is Will Wade on his coach's show. Wait, hang on. Sorry. I had to pot it down. My bad. God dog it. That's twice I've screwed up the audio. Here we go. Will Wade about playing at the Cow Palace.
Throwback jerseys. We had the whole thing. We had a.
My bad.
Do it. I think it's a great idea. I think it makes sense. I wanted to wear throwback jerseys. We had the whole thing. We had a grand scheme. Getting all this stuff, we can't put shot clocks in there, and the season ticket holders. Where you guys? Season ticket holders don't care where they sit. They'll figure it out. They'll figure it out when we get in there. In their defense, I don't think the arena is necessarily game ready right now because of all the traffic that they have with livestock and other things. But I think it's a great idea. Feel free to email anybody in that administration building he wants to email.
I think he paused when he called it a gym. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Because that was the big spat with old boy Bob Marlin at ULL. We don't play in a gym, we play in an arena, and he called it a gym. Anyway, but how do you feel about it?
I think it'd be great, man. I heard the stories as a kid growing up with Pistol playing in the Cow Palace, and I would 1,000% be at that game. I mean, the structure's still standing. I think people are still familiar with it because of the things that go on there. So much rich history there. It would be an awesome thing to do. It wouldn't be a bad idea to maybe, do it once a year. I mean, it would be a cool thing for guys to look forward to.
I went to school at LSU. I've been going to campus my whole life for games, sporting events, whatever. Walked every inch of the campus as a student.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've been inside of Parker Coliseum once.
Really?
I would buy a ticket. Like as a member of the media, I don't have to pay to go to sporting events ever if I don't want to. I can get a credential to anything and I can go watch. Now I can't drink and party and have fun and cheer and all that stuff, but I could get in to any game for free. I would buy a ticket to go watch that.
Yeah.
To go experience a piece of nostalgia. And I think if that's something you did annually and you made it an event. I love novelties. Like I love when the NHL does their Winter Classic when they play an outdoor hockey game in a football stadium. I love when like college football
Notre Dame at Yankee
Stadium or at Wrigley Field. Like I like novelties like that. There's something cool about. It's one of the reasons I like LSU playing in the Fiesta Bowl. That game's been around almost 50 years. LSU's never played in it. They may never play in it again. It's one of the reasons why I'm really excited about maybe having the opportunity to go out there, to Glendale and watch this game.
Right.
Because it's just I like novelties. And you see pictures of Pistol Pete, you've seen video of him playing in that arena. To be able to actually go in there and see a game, and it wouldn't be the same thing, but to kind of experience what it would have been like to watch a game in that arena, I think is fantastic, man. I would love the opportunity to do that. I hope they do. I mean, I understand logistically, parking isn't great and restrooms and amenities and concessions aren't great. I get there's a lot of things like that would have to be accounted for. But one day it feels like you could bring a floor in there. You could roll those basketball goals in with the shot clock on top. Like you could make that happen.
All the stuff still works too. Like, it's not like it's like everything's functional. Bathrooms are good. Like it's
the building works.
Yeah, it works. The roof's kind of messed up.
A little bit.
It's part of it.
Seats would need to be cleaned off.
Yeah. I was in there for the Ducks Unlimited banquet a month or so ago. Yeah. It was great because I could dip and just spit on the floor because it was dirt.
It's dirt, yeah.
I was inside just spitting on the floor. It was so cool. Anyway.
Okay, let's do Ask Us. If you listen to the podcast, this is how we wrap up. You can ask us anything about anything. So there's probably people listening right now going, wait a minute. I'm listening. How can I ask you a question? Well, that's a great question. Well, what we do is we actually record the podcast live start at noon Central on Tuesdays, and we fire it up on Facebook Live. So anyway, if you're listening to us at a later date and you want to watch, you can go back to the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge Facebook page, or on my YouTube channel, I upload this as well. So you can watch us in our studio with all the graphics and the video and everything, thanks to our friends at Prime Occupational Medicine. So you can ask us anything about anything. Fire away. Here's your chance for Ask Us. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Trivia Carter, does anyone else see what's on the horizon? LSU's doomed for a few years with Saban at Bama, Fisher at 8M, Florida with Mullen, Georgia with Smart. It's going to be rough.
Yeah, I think everybody sees that.
With the LSU recruiting class coming in, there's a lot of optimism for LSU in the future. That's from Trey Arnold.
It's funny that you read those two back to back.
I think he was replying to that guy.
Yeah.
If we keep Aranda an upgrade at OC, it's not as bad as you think, as long as recruiting stays at a high level. If O stops recruiting well, he'll be gone because that's the main reason he's the coach.
I think O does a good job recruiting, and I think Dave Aranda's a really, really, really good defensive coach. So, yes, I mean, a couple changes here or there, and you never know.
I'll be curious to see what happens with Aranda.
What do you mean?
How long he stays. I mean, I think it's, he's an ambitious guy. I don't think he's going to be LSU's defensive coordinator forever. I think it's short-sighted to believe that. So when might the right head coaching opportunity come, or, a coach in waiting spot, or an NFL gig, whatever it may be? I mean, how long is he here? I think that's a good question. Like Nick Diaz said, I'd make Dave Aranda head coach in waiting. You and I talked about this.
Yeah.
The problem with that is, there's been spots in the past with coaches that became a head coach in waiting, but it was obvious that the head coach there was near the end. Like, Ed Ogeron's in his mid-50s. Like, he ain't looking for the escape hatch. Like, Ed Ogeron will coach another 15 years at LSU if they'll let him. Right. So I don't really get Dave Aranda's going to sit around and wait that long for his opportunity.
Do you have to make that public? Could that be something where they could sit down and say, hey, listen, it's yours if you want it?
Small town, bro.
Yeah.
And if you physically sign a document, contractually, then it's a public document and someone will get a hold of it. Ross Dellinger would find it.
Yeah, he would.
Jeffrey Bone, Terrio, who wins Saturday, Catholic or Curtis?
I thought Curtis yesterday, big, and then I talked to you, and you made a good point, because my thing was, from a talent standpoint, it should be pretty lopsided Curtis's way. And you said, hold on, partner. It was like that last year. And then after we hung up and I was supposed to call you back, I thought about it a little bit, and you were right. So I don't know. It's a coin flip.
Catholic's got a better coach. I don't think Curtis is overwhelmingly better at talent. And you're going to say, Matt, that's absurd because JT Curtis has won 1 million state titles, which he has.
No.
But Gabe Fertitta flat out coached them last year. Curtis was a better team last year, and Catholic beat them straight up because they were better coached in every phase. And that's why Catholic's got a great chance to win again. Sam, the games that Catholic is going to lose now are like when they played U High, and you've got 12 D1 kids running out there where it's like your guy has blanket coverage on Jordan Clark, but he jumps 47 inches and makes a one-handed catch in the back of the end zone. It's okay, well, can't stop that. Sorry. Those are the games Catholic's going to lose, not Curtis running the veer, because they're going to play disciplined, sound football, and they'll be physical, and they'll play well. I don't know if Catholic's going to win it. I hope they do. Be great. But it'll be competitive. It'll be competitive.
Be competitive.
Sam Bacon, is USC back with the hire of Kingsbury as OC?
It's to be determined. No, I don't.
What a cop-out.
Yeah, I don't think.
What a cop-out.
I'll tell you what, they're always going to get guys. So, we'll see.
I'll give you the short answer. No, they're not back with the hire of Kingsbury. What did Kingsbury do when he was OC at A&M with Sumlin? Went 8-4 every stinking year. What did he do at Texas Tech?
Took pictures with girls in Vegas.
Yeah, took pictures with girls in Vegas, and he'll love that in L.A. Good on him. They ain't back. There's a lot of people that wanted Kingsbury in Baton Rouge. Hell no. I saw him in the SEC with Sumlin. They had the 1 year with Manziel because you had a transcendent player. Fine. You can do better.
I want SC to be back. I love their uniforms.
I hate them. Yeah, somebody said that was my dad driving that truck. The truck that was stalled on the right side of the lane that I was talking about earlier.
Well, your dad needs to look at the gas gauge.
Your dad needs to get his behind off the road. Yeah. He's screwing up everybody's day.
Put his glasses on, look at the gas gauge, get off, go get fuel. Come on, bro.
Claude Simino asked Matt and Ryan, do you believe if UCF would not have proclaimed themselves national champions last year, they would have more people clamoring for them to be in the playoffs?
I think the way that they went about that last year definitely turned a lot of people off. So, yeah, to answer your question, I do think so. Probably so.
I think they'd be more likable, like Boise State has been likable throughout the years, but nobody wants Boise State in the playoffs. and I don't think anybody wants Central Florida in the playoffs. I've said this before. You're Central Florida. You want to be in a playoff? You want to be considered for it?
Yeah.
Schedule 4 non-conference games against Power 5 opponents on the road. Take your ass on the road 4 times against Power 5 teams. Win them all, and then we'll have a conversation. That's the only way I even entertain this. Not, we played 1 time in a neutral site opener. No. 4.
Yeah.
Because LSU's got to play 4 road conference games. Bama, everybody else, you're playing 4 road conference games against Power 5 teams. Take your ass on the road and go play Power 5 teams. Well, we need money. Well, what do you want? Do you want money from your home games? Or do you want to play for a championship? These are your options. Like, you're in the American. You know you're not going to play for a championship. You're here just to get a check. That's why you're here. That's why you're in the FBS. You're never going to win a championship. Ever. The only opportunity you have is to do what I just said. And if you're not going to do it, then shut up. I have no sympathy for you. 0. None. Congrats on a nice season. Enjoy your bowl game. Mm-hmm. Enjoy your experience. You know, hang a banner. But you'll never play for a championship, and you never should. Chris Keller asked Ryan, best way to cook backstrap besides bacon wrap with jalapeno?
You fry it. It's pretty good that way.
Stephen Beach's Mike D said how many people UCF has headed to this year's draft. He's not, but I'll ask him that on Thursday. Trivia asked us, is Coach O Les Miles without the great press conference?
No, I don't think so.
Les Miles won a national championship. Ed Ogeron was 3-21 at Ole Miss in the SEC.
I think there's a lot of differences there. I mean, you got to take into consideration of time. I mean, look, we're forgetting the impact on the defensive side of the ball that Aranda can basically control a game, can mask a lot of things.
And who hired Dave Aranda?
Les Miles did some really good things.
Who hired the current offensive coordinator?
Yeah.
Who hired the current head coach? Y'all, Les hired great staff members. His one problem was his loyalty to Cam Cameron, and that killed him.
Yep.
It killed him. That's it. He hired great staff members. He recruited his ass off. He put guys in the pros. He
gave great interviews.
Like, if Les Miles had fired Cam Cameron and modernized his offense like he was willing to do with his defense, then Les Miles would still be here and probably still be competing for championships.
Yep.
Kirk Taylor said nothing like smelling cow patties while watching B-ball.
I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah, I can smell cow patties. I'll put some Febreze in there.
Yeah.
Steve Menard asked us, will the Saints need to win out to get home field in the playoffs? Absolutely, and they need help.
Yeah, you can't lay an egg like that. Nope. Mm-mm.
Well, I mean, just
I'm off them.
Mathematically.
I'm off them, though.
You're stupid.
I'm off them.
Greg Schilling asked us, expanded playoffs? Yep, 8. 5 conference champions, 3 at large. No guarantee for the group of 5. Kick rocks, group of 5. Give me 8. And people say, well, then the 9th team will have an argument. But the further you go back, the less of an argument you have. Like, Florida's number 9 this year. I don't care that Florida's upset at 9-3 that they're not in. Sorry. You got waxed at home by Missouri and by Kentucky, and then you lost double digits on the road in a neutral site game against Georgia. Get out of here. I ain't interested in you.
I heard an interesting debate the other day. If you did away with the conference title games, is that a possibility? I mean, do you think?
No, because it's a money grab for the conferences. But if they did away with the conference games, went back to a 10 or 11 game schedule, then you could have an expanded playoff. But even still, it's an extra game potentially for 8 teams. You know, it's not like it's just a cop out, man. Like, it's the hypocrisy of the powers that be in college sports. It's all feasible. I mean, you just watched LSU and Texas A&M play a 5-hour, 7 overtime game, and you're going to talk about players playing too much? Yeah. About the health of players? Kick rocks, clown. Kirk Taylor asked us, will the Pels ever play consistent?
I don't know. I don't watch the Pelicans.
Yeah, ask me after Christmas. NBA starts at Christmas. Matthew Rogelio asked y'all, how funny is the Not Matt Moscona Twitter parody account?
Haven't seen it. Have you?
Somebody copied me on a tweet of it yesterday. It wasn't that funny. He said, like, my voice is gone and it's been a long day. I'm going to go home and play with the dogs and drink a glass of wine and take a bubble bath. I'm like, well, I drink whiskey, not wine. I hate baths, and all of our dogs are dead. So if you're going to do a parody, it can at least be accurate.
How's that funny?
It's not funny.
Have you seen the Jim Hawthorne one? Jim Hawthorne's account? That one's funny.
Well, who do you think's doing that?
Jim Hawthorne?
No.
Who does that
Should I out the person that's doing it?
Please do.
That seems like that's such an obvious one. It seems so abundantly
Who's
obvious.
doing it?
I'm not going to say because I don't want to upset the person.
Will you tell me off air?
Sure. Okay. Who I think it is, I don't know, but if you made me go to Vegas and say, Matt, you have to write down on a sheet of paper who you think is running that account and put everything you own in a bag and slide it across.
You would say it was Jacques.
You said that, not me.
It's funny. He does a good job if it is him.
Do you think it's Jacques? That's who I think it is. Yes.
I mean, yeah. I guess. I don't know. It's funny.
It is funny. I like it. You think he's gonna get mad at us now?
Nah.
I think he is.
Just bought a new house. He's good.
He built a house.
Yeah.
All right, last one. Ask y'all score prediction for Fiesta Bowl.
I haven't even thought about it yet.
Yeah, ask me in a month. All right, let's get out of here. Tell people about Prime one more time.
Yeah, go check them out. PrimeOCCMed.com or give them a call at 225-749-5750. Listen, if you want to keep your workforce healthy, Prime Occupational Med can do that. If they're healthy, they're productive. They're productive, you're making money.
And they are tagged in this Facebook post, so please go like the Prime Occupational Medicine Facebook page. If you have not yet shared this post on Facebook, please do that as well. It's a big help to us. He's Ryan. I'm Matt. See you next week. Riot Podcast.